This is the Hollywood Outsider, a weekly entertainment podcast where this week we are reviewing Hit and Run, The Bourne Legacy, and The Campaign. We're going to look at upcoming releases, including The Apparition and Premium Rush. Our From the Outside In topic this week, we're going to talk about what film characters from other films we think should get their own film series. We're going to also talk about the latest in movie and TV news, our own trivia and flashback DVD segments, including our t-shirt contest winner. We're going to have a Facebook Twitter contest this week, so listen for details on that. Our I'm a Ho t-shirts are available at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. There's a tab for it. And please subscribe on our site, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or anywhere else you can find an RSS feed, as well as on RockfordCollegeRadio.com Thursdays from 4 to 6. I am your host, Aaron Peterson. With me today are my fellow host, Scott Clark.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
And that made no sense at all. Justin McCumber.
Man, I'm glad you didn't screw that up, because that is a long-ass intro.
It was. For anybody that still listened, thank you. And Brian Williams.
Good evening.
Hello. Before we get into everything, Justin, you just went to, what is it, SpaceCon? You went to space? You went to Mars? I don't know what the hell you did.
It's a Space City Con over in Houston. It's the first year that they've had this convention going.
And was there a good turnout? Good event?
Yeah, it was a really good turnout. It was held at the Galleria Mall and the Westin Hotel. They're joined together. And for a first year, it was really good. I was in the dealer room most of the time, so I don't know what kind of programming they had, what kind of tracks might have been available, but I was behind a table selling books all weekend. And Friday, the traffic was okay, but Saturday, it was just gangbusters. A lot of people walking through, sold quite a few books, met a lot of really nice people, met a couple of idols of mine, so it was a good weekend. I really enjoyed it.
Sounds like fun, because I don't think any of us did anything remotely similar to that in terms of coolness. I mowed my lawn.
It was very good, and I'll go next year, too, see if it gets even better.
Excellent. Well, let's just jump into movie news. Keanu Reeves revealed the plot for Bill and Ted 3. Now, a lot of our listeners might not even know who the hell Bill and Ted are, but Bill and Ted...
They should be ashamed of themselves.
Or they might be young. Bill and Ted had a film series where they have two films, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Back in the 80s, late 80s. Well, they're looking at bringing that series back for another one, and it's going to see the 80s heroes never having completed their most famous, important song ever, and going into the future Christmas Carol style to see how their lives play out had they written that song.
Yeah, well, if you're young and you have not seen this, then maybe you shouldn't be ashamed of yourselves, but your parents should be ashamed of themselves. There are a lot of movies from the 80s that I would recommend people never watch, never view, but Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and, to a lesser extent, Bogus Journey are two films that are certainly products of their age, but I think they're still fun. I don't know if I'd call them timeless, but I've enjoyed them, and I think that every generation should be made to watch it, and I think it'll give you a certain insight into who we are in the 80s. But one of the premises? What's
the plural on
one
that?
of those in both of the movies is that Bill and Ted, who have a band called Wild Stallions, will at some point in their career create a song that is so magnificent that it will bring the entire world together in a spirit of peace and love and will change the world. And so in the future, they are incredibly famous people. Time travelers know all about them. Everybody knows all about them. And the two films are, about trying to get these guys to the point where they are going to write the song. And so it looks like in this third movie, they're going to be going back to that premise and really looking at it. Apparently, it's going to be a little bit of a twist on the whole Scrooge thing, where they're going to be taken into the future to see what the future would be like had they completed that song, but they haven't completed it yet, and so things have kind of gone from bad to worse and really on the rocks. And I cannot wait to see this with an older Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, who played... Bill S. Prescott,
Preston
Esquire. Preston Esquire. Yeah, the blonde guy. So yeah, it'll be cool to see them both. Unfortunate that George Carlin's not around to be in it. He was in the first two movies.
Yeah,
he was the time traveler that kind of took him back and forth. So maybe they'll be able to CGI his ass back to life or something. I don't know, but I can't wait to see it. I really do hope they film this movie and get it out there.
Okay, and casting news, two things, one big, one really small. Eric Bana is in talks for Lone Survivor. That's Peter Berg's new film. Peter Berg did Battleship, Hancock, and several other big movies. And who else is in the movie is Mark Wahlberg, Taylor Kitsch, and a bunch of others as Navy SEALs fighting to...
Taylor who?
Taylor Kitsch. So
That
he
movie's
did get
done.
another job.
That movie's done.
Well, they might have locked him up before all the tragedies happened
Yeah,
this year.
that's true. Fighting to survive after being ambushed in Afghanistan by the Taliban in 2005. One real other quick piece is Heather Graham's coming back to Hangover 3.
I just wish they kind of would have stopped with the first one. But this third one, though, they're supposed to be changing up the formula. So we'll kind of see how that works out. But I'm excited for Eric Bana, although this movie kind of sounds like almost a rehashing of Black Hawk Down. I know it's a totally different story, but it's still the same American military guys trapped against impossible odds, having to fight their way out. I like Eric Bana. He's just one of those guys. I don't think he's a great actor, but for some reason, I like him in just about anything that he's in. So he's kind of made for these type of roles.
I'm hoping he can expand. This kind of sounds like a movie that's right up my alley. It's very political. But I also know that those movies don't make much money. And then you put Taylor Kitsch in it, and it's almost like there's no chance it's going to make money.
Death sentence.
So
Well, the good thing with him though is he's not. It doesn't look like the load is on his shoulders. It looks like he's sharing the burden with Wahlberg and Bana.
All of whom have gone on to helm huge movies like The Hulk and Max Payne. So we've really got a stellar cast put together. Yeah.
Oh, maybe the talking teddy bear will show up. That'd be kick-ass. There is an impending IMAX re-release of Raiders of the Lost Ark, supposedly set for September 7th, just prior to the Indiana Jones Blu-ray box set, which looks awesome, which is going to release on September 18th. No word yet on how many theaters.
I'm not one to go see the older movies in theaters, but this one really gets me excited. Raiders is one of those films I have a difficult time finding anything wrong with it.
Because there isn't.
It's like a damn near perfect movie, in my opinion.
It's perfect.
And I'm not going to miss this one. An IMAX in high definition, big screen like that, I'm all on board with this. And the box set, the Blu-ray box set, is really getting me excited too.
If it wasn't $100.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to buy it at release. I'll wait for the inevitable price drop on Thanksgiving.
I'll wait till somebody's really low on spirits and they just have to part with it.
Or I'll just borrow yours.
I better get it for Christmas then, because I ain't paying $100 for it. Does anybody else want to see this on IMAX? Because I can't wait. I mean, I already want to buy a ticket.
I'm stoked.
I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan. My wife is, though. Those films are the entire reason she got an anthropology degree. So this will be one of those films that I would be able to drag her into a theater to see, because she normally hates going to movies these days. But for Indiana Jones, yeah, I bet I can do it. I like the second one. The third one, Last Crusade, is my favorite of the three.
That's your favorite? You like that more than Raiders?
I actually, it was the first Indiana Jones I saw.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see either of the other two beforehand, so it kind of got that first film favorite spot thing.
Well, your favorite is Temple of Doom.
Right? It is. Well, no, my favorite film, like as a film, would be Raiders. I have more fun with Temple of Doom. I can rewatch
No
it.
time for love, Dr. Jones?
Yes. And I'm one of the few people that I will defend Short Round until I die. I don't care. That little bastard
He was not
funny.
the Jar Jar of Indiana Jones.
He was not. He deserved his own series. No, he didn't.
But didn't he kind of
No,
get that in the Goonies?
Yeah, he did. He had
what
a
he
shot.
said. Booty traps.
Sick shoes!
Moving on, it looks like Joe Carnahan, who did The Grey and the A-Team movie, he had a planned reimagining of the Daredevil film over at Fox, and apparently it fell apart, which means that the rights are going to revert back to Marvel. So Marvel and Disney will have the rights to Daredevil back this October.
Good. You know, I didn't see The Grey, so yes, I know I'm a bad person. I still haven't gotten around to seeing it. I did enjoy the A-Team quite a bit, but earlier today, or it might have been yesterday, he had released a sizzle reel that he had put together to kind of show Fox the direction or tone that he wanted his Daredevil movie to take. Fucking hated it. It was awful. So I can't say that I'm disappointed to see that they're not going to let him take control of Daredevil. I wish Marvel could get back all of their movies, not just this one, but Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, and just keep all that stuff in-house from here on out. So for me, this is all kind of good.
Didn't it look like a 70s gritty attempt?
Yes, and it looks shitty.
It doesn't look like Daredevil at all.
No.
In my opinion. There's a bunch of people on the internet that were raving about this approach.
They're stupid.
I don't agree with them. I mean, maybe it looks good from a filmmaking perspective, but if you're a fan of the comic book, it doesn't work. I'm sorry,
No.
it just doesn't. And Daredevil and Spider-Man, those are two that I read a lot of those. I know how that comic works, and it does not work for what he did. So, my opinion, just my opinion.
So yay.
I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him work Daredevil in the Phase 2 of the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I would too. I don't know if he was ever Avenger, but throw him in there. Shit.
No, he wasn't an Avenger, but he, like you say, he did have run-ins with Spider-Man. Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken, some of our listeners could correct me on this. Maybe they could work out a better 6 degrees of separation here, but you got Daredevil and Spider-Man had run-ins. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man, I believe, currently is in the comic books is an Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, currently I think so.
And then there's the Punisher. I think the Punisher and Daredevil had some run-ins.
The Punisher, Daredevil, and also Spider-Man. Punisher, Spider-Man also had run-ins. So
they all cross paths quite a bit.
They are right, exactly. And Punisher and Daredevil, neither one of them really deal with the extraterrestrial stuff. So that's probably a little bit of a hurdle to work them in there. But now that they own him, I think he'd be a great supporting character.
That would be cool.
More interesting than Hawkeye.
It'd be a bigger hurdle to get Spider-Man from Sony, but
yeah,
or Punisher from Lionsgate because they won't let that go.
Okay, Dream Killer.
Just let you know. All right, let's go. Let's head over to the whole mill, Scott.
All right, this is a newer segment we started here. Now we all like movie news, and every once in a while something is worth mentioning, even if it isn't close to a done deal or it just might be a rumor. So remember. Anything we talk about in this section is not necessarily confirmed. It's just idle speculation. So real quick, the first one we got is this is all PR at this point, but Expendables producer Avi Lerner had no problem speculating who he thought could be in Expendables 3. He says they've got Nick Cage on board.
He's free.
They've approached Clint Eastwood and Harrison Ford, and he would like Wesley Snipes once he's out of prison, of course. What do you guys think? Who would be a good addition if they did make an Expendables 3?
Wesley Snipes. He's just begging to get a job when he gets out of jail.
That would be awesome, though, dude, because he's a kick-ass kind of action guy, so I would love to see that. I could never see, though, Eastwood or Ford.
They would never do it. Never happen.
Never.
No. Brian's going to take mine. I already heard it.
Go for it, Brian.
Oh, really? Carl Weathers.
Yep, that was what I was going to say.
Yeah, he was with, he's played with Stallone, he's played with
Schwarzenegger
in Predator. Vin Diesel.
Oh,
yeah. Fuck. I didn't think of that.
That's a newer one.
Yeah, well, so is Jason Statham.
That's true. Good call.
He's actually a little older than Statham. So
how about Lawrence Fishburne?
What? When has he ever been?
Yeah, I can see Lawrence Fishburne.
He's not really a man of action. I mean, unless you consider Boys in the Hood an action flick.
Well, he was in The Matrix, and he did a little martial arts, some kung fu. I wouldn't mind seeing Danny Trejo.
You know who I don't want is Steven Seagal. They keep bandying that name about, and I just don't want that.
No, don't
let him go to his whatever outlaw show he wants to do. But I still want Kurt Russell. I still want
good
Kurt
call.
Russell. A Tango and Cash
Russell
reunion. Just name that bastard Cash Pliskin or something. That would be the most kick-ass movie ever.
Oh, you guys don't want to see Machete in this film?
Danny Trejo's in enough shit. He's
really?
He's got enough. I don't think he belongs in the Expendables. I don't think he's got the clout.
You don't look at Danny Trejo
cut?
as no. Yeah. He's too pretty.
Yeah.
He brings up the handsome quotient in the movie.
Yeah, way too much.
No, but you don't. But he's a dark character. He's.
Was that a racist comment?
No, he means he's
dark. He's not an action guy.
No,
he's not somebody you can point to an '80s movie or even '90s and really go, "Oh yeah, he kicked ass in this movie as a hero." Most of these people in this movie, in these movies are they carried their own movies as action movies.
Correct.
So, what about Jean Reno, the French guy from The Profession?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I think they're getting to the point where they're really stretching. But I will tell you, there is no way in hell. I mean, Nick Cage, yeah, they can. He's probably locked in right now because he's free. But Clint Eastwood and Harrison Ford, that guy is just trying to drum up PR for his movie because there's no way in hell. Hey, Clint Eastwood would never do it. I don't care how many times they say Sylvester Stallone likes him, he would never do it. And Harrison Ford, all he wants is another Indiana Jones movie. That's all he wants. He's not going to do Sylvester Stallone's shitty little action flick.
I think I could see Clint Eastwood before Harrison Ford.
I wouldn't see either one of them. I would bet Scott Clark that would never happen.
I'm not suggesting that it would. I'm just
I
saying.
will bet you that this will never happen.
What about
one
Mr.
guy
T?
Oh, Mr. T. That'd be great.
That's perfect. Perfect.
One guy who needs some work though is Jeremy Renner. Maybe they could somehow squeeze him in.
Yes.
He hasn't been in a movie in a while.
Yeah, he's not already popping up in every ensemble piece there is. Real quick before we go into Brian's Trailer Park, there's been a lot of scuttle on the internet about the Snow White and the Huntsman sequel that would be ditching Kristen Stewart because she's, dirty girl, and instead spinning off the franchise and focusing solely on the Huntsman character played by Chris Hemsworth. Universal, I want to dispel that because I'm tired of people telling me how true it is. Universal has publicly stated that though writer David Koepp has departed the project, they are exploring all options, and all accounts of them dropping Kristen Stewart are fake. So suck on that, internet rumor machine.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. First up is Red Dawn. Now, Red Dawn was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and it wasn't really a blockbuster, but it did cover something that really nobody else had done before, and that's an invasion of the good old U.S. of A. Now, back in the days, this came out in '84, which is towards the end of the Cold War, and really during those times, that was kind of a freaky thing to think about, and they actually did a pretty good job of making it a believable situation. But Red Dawn's been given an update, and while the cast has changed, that really appears to be about the only thing that's changed because it looks like just about the exact same plot as before. It's fairly simple. Instead of Russians this time, it's North Koreans. But after they invade, a group of teens try to figure out what's going on and save their hometown. Using their high school mascot as a rallying cry, the teens use guerrilla tactics to take the fight back to the Koreans. Now, I'm personally going into this one kind of kicking and screaming because I love the first one so much. But did this one have you guys screaming Wolverines when you saw the trailer?
I'm really trying to understand how North Korea managed to take over North America. Because the countries are not comparable.
Isn't there like 30 people in North Korea?
I know that originally the film was supposed to be China, but because now we're such allies, allegedly, or they have all of our money.
We're trying to create a huge movie market in China right now.
Yeah, and so they changed it to North Korea. So I don't know, basically the actors look Chinese. They don't really look Korean, but whatever. It makes no sense. Yeah, I know they're similar. It makes no sense. It really makes no sense. North Korea does not have enough people to take over North America. That part, I don't know. But the trailer looks all right. You can tell it was made 3 years ago, though.
Yeah, Helmsworth accent is flaky at best.
And the brother, I don't know what the kid's name is that plays his brother, but he's bad.
The whole thing looked bad. The movie looked like shit. The premise is shit. The only reason they made this film was to try and get another bite at the apple of remakes. I will not be seeing this film.
Oh man, screw you guys! I thought this trailer looked fantastic.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but you probably haven't even seen the original.
I have seen the original. Thank you very much.
Really?
I saw Red Dawn on VHS, but I saw it. I think this
That's
looks...
how you should have seen it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's on DVD.
You guys know I'm not a big military war movie fan at all. There's something about bringing it home to our soil that makes it interesting and makes it. I love disaster movies, like where like just all shit is going to hell, and people look out and see the spectacles. Granted, like you said, it looks like it's 3 years old, but looking out and seeing the parachutes and the planes, like that gives me an ominous, eerie feeling, and it's kind of scary to think of those kinds of possibilities. I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks like fun. Apparently, I'm alone. I'm stoked to see this movie.
In the first film, Russia made a credible threat. I mean, granted, even the first film that really could have happened the way they did it, but Russia felt like that big, indomitable opponent that could actually sweep in and kick our asses. Who in this country for a second could think that North Korea could be that same sort of menace? I don't buy it. It doesn't seem plausible, and if it doesn't seem plausible, I'm not interested. Korea couldn't take over anything, much less the United States of America.
They can't even take over the lower half of their own country. So
no shit. Thank you.
How are they going to take over the U.S.? But just just so you know, Red Dawn will be dropping into theaters November 21st.
Airdropping?
Airdropping. They'll be parachuting in on November 21st.
Okay.
Wow.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't have.
Next, Clint Eastwood's back as a crotchety old bastard again, but this time he's playing an aging baseball scout who's losing his eyesight due to macular degeneration. In Trouble with the Curve, Eastwood plays Gus, who reunites with his estranged daughter Mickey, played by Amy Adams, and takes her on a recruiting trip. So she kind of helps him out with the eyesight and stuff, and they can spend quality mommy daddy time, whatever, daughter daddy time.
Yeah, mommy daddy time is a little different.
That's a whole different movie.
Wow.
That'll be out next year. Justin Timberlake also stars as another baseball scout and as the suitor to Mickey.
I love how you give us the Georgia description.
The suitor.
Suitor. He's bona fide.
This one looks like a lot of fun. It looked really cute, and I was surprised by how much I actually enjoyed watching the trailer. And I got to tell you, Justin Timberlake, motherfucker's a triple threat. The guy can act, and you have to imagine that the rest of the people from, what was it, NSYNC, have got to be just buying every voodoo doll of him they can find to try and bring him down, because the dude's just got it all.
Mm-hmm.
He can't do wrong.
I love Clint Eastwood. I really do. He's one of my favorite all-time stars. And the fact that the guy's 82 and he still captures the screen just by walking on it, just boggles my mind. But I'm really looking forward to it. Amy Adams, she's turned into a great actress.
Yeah.
She is adorable.
And she's adorable, but she's a great actress. And Justin Timberlake is starting to win me over. So I want to see it. And I don't even like baseball.
I'm not a huge baseball fan either, but Moneyball kind of turned me around as far as baseball movies. There's even a shot of Matthew Lillard in this. Where's he been for the past?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
He looked slick though in the trailer for the small part he's playing.
He should. He's had plenty of time to make himself look better.
I'm equally excited to see this. This looks fantastic. I'm really excited.
I mean, I am a baseball fan, and it happens to be I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, which is where the team that he is a scout for. Mm-hmm. And it was filmed just a couple hours up the road in a town that I'm really familiar with. So I want to see it for personal reasons.
Oh, cool.
It actually opens September 21st.
Would you say that it bunts in the theaters?
Oh, God.
Wow.
I'm hoping he knocks it out of the park.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, God, please end this segment, please.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
Maybe we could get
Lawbringers out there.
Right. Maybe we get one more zinger. Now that way we could just totally strike out, with all the bad jokes.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's a foul ball, man.
Oh. So,
Please end.
Just go. Get us out of here. You guys can watch these trailers and those from recent episodes at thehollywoodoutsider.com. If you got any thoughts, any topic ideas that you want us to talk about, tweet us at H_outsider. You can go to facebook.com/thehollywoodutsider and like us. We would appreciate that. Or you could drop us an email at feedback@thehollywoodutsider.com. And also just a reminder, you can get some awesome badass I'm a Hoe t-shirts at thehollywoodutsider.com.
Stump the Hoe.
Now it's time for Stump the Hoe. Each week, one of our hosts poses a trivia question to the remaining hosts in an attempt to stump their fellow hoes. Hoe stands for Hollywood Outsider, not actual prostitutes. This week, it is Justin's turn. Justin, try to stump us hoes.
All right, well, later on this episode, I'm going to be doing a preview for Premium Rush, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And I can't think of him without thinking of the very first thing I ever saw him in, which was Third Rock from the Sun. And so I thought I would do a question about the cast of that show. The three people who were in that show with, what the hell's his name? The older dude. Oh my God, I cannot believe I forgot
John
his name.
Lithgow?
Yes, thank you, Lithgow. Were Kristen Johnston, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and French Stewart. All of them went on to star in live-action movie versions of famous cartoon shows. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, of course, played Cobra Commander in G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, and French Stewart played Inspector Gadget in Inspector Gadget 2. Not the first one, but the second one. So who did Kirsten Johnston play? A. Delilah in Speed Racer. B. Natasha Fatale in Boris and Natasha the movie. C. Dr. Liz Wilson in Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. Or D. Wilma Flintstone in The Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. Aaron, you go first.
Wilma Flintstone of Viva Rock Vegas.
Scotty?
I will say A.
And Brian?
I'm going to go with Natasha.
Very good. So we got 3 different answers. Excellent.
Yep. We will learn the answer to the question a little later in the show, so stick around. Now let's go to the big screen. Before we get to our reviews, real quick, we're going to do a Facebook Twitter contest this week, which means when we post up our link to this week's episode on both Twitter or Facebook, everyone that retweets us or shares us on their Facebook wall will be entered into a drawing for a new I'm a Ho Hollywood Outsider t-shirt. That's all you have to do. Retweet us on Twitter or share us on Facebook, and bam, you're entered. So remember, you have to share us from our Facebook page because we won't know you did otherwise, or retweet us from our Twitter for us to know that you entered. So listen next week to see if you won. Now let's go to reviews. First, we're going to review Hit and Run. Brad Peterson's going to join us for this review, as he was able to join me for an early screening of the movie. That's the new Dax Shepard Bradley Cooper flick coming out August 22nd. Brad was also a guest host back on episode 20 of The Ho, so if you want to hear that episode, feel free to go back and check it out at the website, thehollywoodoutsiders.com. And also, Brad has his own YouTube channel where he does reviews of cult flicks. You can find that on YouTube at the Proper Gander Pro channel. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
And what kind of movies is that?
Just do different, various weird and obscure, a lot of foreign stuff. Just basically, anytime I see a movie that I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about, or I'm not seeing many reviews about, I just feel compelled to talk about it.
Because I've seen some of them and they're fucked up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But
some of them are.
I watch a decent amount of these kind of weird, obscure kind of stuff, and anytime I see one of these movies, I want to know more about it. I try to go online and get reviews, and a lot of these movies don't have reviews because a lot of people are watching them, and I happen to be one of the people that are watching them, so I feel the need to talk about them, at least give a brief run through what they are.
And it's kind of cool. And you shoot, edit it, and do the music for all of it yourself, right?
Yeah, besides the intro music, I use something else. But besides that, yeah, just throw it all together in my basement real quick, cut it, and put it on YouTube.
It's actually pretty interesting stuff. And there's a couple of them. I don't remember the name of it, but the Ghoulies one.
Yeah,
I really
Gakidama.
Gakidama. I really want to check that out. So if you guys want to see any of his reviews, go to Proper Gander Pro. It's on YouTube, and we'll have a link in the show notes. Okay, Brad, since you're the guest, why don't you tell us what Hit and Run's about?
All right, Hit and Run is a romantic action comedy from writer, co-director, and star Dax Shepard. Shepard plays Charlie Bronson, a man on witness protection who lives in a small town with his girlfriend, played by Kristen Bell, who will always be Veronica Mars to me. The girlfriend, Annie, lands a big job interview across the country, and Charlie offers to drive her, even though he's on witness protection, and the interview is in L.A., where we learn Charlie has history. After a jealous ex-boyfriend of Annie's finds out about the road trip, he gets online and finds out Charlie is in witness protection because he's a former getaway driver. The ex-boyfriend gets in touch with Charlie's former gang, led by Alex, played by Bradley Cooper, and before long, it's a fun, high-speed chase to get Annie to her job interview while being pursued by Charlie's former gang, Annie's ex-boyfriend, and a federal agent, played by Tom Arnold.
It's like 2012 Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, right off, this is just like the formula for pretty much every comedy chase movie, ever. So that's probably my main thing that I would have to say against Hit and Run is it's very, very formulatic.
It's formula.
Formula.
Another word.
Yeah. It's very sticks to that template of movies you've seen like plenty of, but at the same time, it's probably been a good couple years where we've had like a real good chase movie, comedy one. So,
I can't think of one.
Yeah.
I mean, Rat Race was probably the last road.
Yeah, I mean,
chase movie
if I
can
thought about it, I
remember.
could probably think of something, but nothing like classic. Because I mean, if you look through the '70s and the early '80s, there's just tons of these movies that were coming out, and plenty of them were great, or enjoyable. I don't know how great you would rank Smokey and the Bandit, but it's definitely fun as hell.
I think it's a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, by a lot of people's standards.
But that Cannonball Run, whatever. When we went and saw this, they're trying to like pitch it to us as car exploitation, and I'm glad they kind of they didn't decide to go that route with the campaign, because I don't see that the car exploitation movies really. This is just comedy chase movie. We know what we're gonna get, kind of thing.
The story's not deep at all. It's literally Smokey and the Bandit 2012.
Yeah.
Except Dax Shepard is not Burt Reynolds.
No.
Bruce Willis. Burt Reynolds. But Kristen Bell, she takes the Sally Field role. Bradley Cooper takes the cop role. I mean, it's the same movie. It really is. And the story itself is pretty simple. It's not brain dead. But I was actually surprised Dax Shepard wrote this.
Yeah.
Because everything I've seen with him didn't lead me to think that
Yeah,
he was a...
He just seems like the kind of guy to come in and get a check.
Yeah,
you know?
he kind of did.
He didn't seem like the creative type.
No, he didn't.
But I guess this might be like the second movie I think he wrote, because I think he did something else with this was co-directed with David Palmer, and I think he worked with him before in some other movie that I think might have went straight to video. I'm not positive, but I haven't heard of it, so I looked it up and I saw they did do something before.
Well, that's good. They're buddies and they're moving
Yeah.
on. Well, what did you think about the acting? I thought Dax Shepard, like I said earlier, kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
I found him amusing before. I mean, do you remember Without a Paddle? Do you remember
Yeah.
that movie? That's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. It's one
Yeah.
I don't tell people I like, but I really do. But outside of that, he never struck me as a leading man.
No, he's a good like second or third character in a movie. You know, he's a good sidekick. I never thought he would do well like leading a movie, and I thought he did fine. I mean, for the most part.
He holds it. I mean,
Yeah.
he holds his role. I don't think he's blown anybody away. It's not Burt
Oh,
Reynolds.
no,
It's
no.
not where he comes on the screen and you're like, damn, that's a movie star.
Yeah.
But he holds the movie, and you're rooting for him at the end.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I think he did a good job. I mean, before this, he was always kind of like a sidekick character. I think he did a good job leading this one.
And Kristen Bell, who, like you said, is always going to be Veronica Mars to you.
Yeah,
I honestly think she's one of the most unappreciated actresses working today.
yeah. She could tell she has a good sense of humor too. She always, when she's in these kind of goofy movies or whatever, she plays with it real well.
She could be whatever she wants. I mean,
Yeah.
she's like funny, she's dramatic, she's whatever she wants to be. But mainstream America still doesn't accept her, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. I don't.
And
know
you guys
why.
are all wrong.
Yeah,
You guys are all wrong. She's excellent, and I like her not because she's attractive, which is what a lot of people, especially like Justin and Brian and Scott, that may be one of the reasons they like Kristen Bell. I like her because she's talented. She's
Yeah.
extremely talented.
she's spunky.
Yeah, she is. And
She has an attitude, you know.
She's fun. She's interesting. She can be. I buy her dramatic and I buy her comedic, and there's not many that I can buy that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Tom Arnold, what'd you think about him?
He was all right. He was Tom Arnold.
Yeah.
When he was first in the movie, like in the first half hour or so, like when he had his scenes with his car, I thought he was all right. He just kind of seemed like he was tacked on, but as the movie went on, probably about halfway point, I don't know, for some reason I started finding him funny, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
He got less desperate. I think
Yeah.
he starts off the first half of the movie. He seems like that desperate guy.
Yeah, do goofy slapstick stuff that didn't really fit at the very
Yeah.
start of the movie, and
Shooting your gun around children would probably never happen.
yeah, he's supposed to be like a federal agent. And he's like, waving a gun around in somebody's front yard, and just all sorts of goofy shit. But like as it goes on, he did a good job. Like by the second half of it, the first half, I just thought he was just going to be some tacked on character that was just going to annoy the piss out of me before the movie ended.
And Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville, if you guys remember that show. So I was kind of a fan because I like Smallville. It was weird seeing him. It actually took me a minute to realize it was him because he had hair. And, he spent the whole series bald.
I never
playing.
saw Smallville.
You
so
never saw Smallville?
No.
You hate America.
I hate Superman.
Shh. We don't want people to turn off right now. But he pops up as Annie's ex, and he starts the whole ball rolling, which is
Yeah.
what Brad was talking about. And he was pretty good. He did a nice job being a slimy little dirtbag, but
Yeah.
also you kind of felt bad for him by the
Yeah,
end.
because he was like a total nerd,
Yeah.
You could tell this is like he lost his one chance at like a hot girlfriend, and he's just not letting it go.
Just desperate.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the main guy, the guy that surprised the hell out of me, and that's Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, he stole this movie.
He owned this movie.
If he wasn't in this movie, I think I just would be shitting on it right now. When you first see him, because he has blonde dreadlocks and like a tracksuit, and like you see him and this is going to be every douchebag villain character I've ever seen in every movie like this. But he really plays the role different. Like he's a villain, but there's different things they do with him, like character wise, especially like the first scene when they introduce him in like the supermarket with the guy and his dog and stuff like that. Like he was a more interesting character. He was bigger than like the villain that you expected him to be. He was hilarious, and I'm not really a big Brad Cooper fan. I think he's just another guy, and this one definitely won me over. I thought he was fucking hilarious.
Well, see, I see him. Bradley Cooper, I'm a fan of. Oh, I have been. I was a huge. Did you ever watch Alias?
No.
God,
Sorry.
man, the quality television. I was a huge fan of Alias, so I liked Bradley Cooper long before he ever became popular. And then he was in The Hangover, and I just love his character in Hangover because he's a douchebag. I respect that. But when he did this and I saw the trailer, I thought it looked funny, but all I kept seeing was caricature. I figured you're going to see this movie, and by halfway through, you're going to wish he would get off the screen. And this is just going to be one of those, you're a big movie star and you're trying to have fun, and it's just Battlefield Earth, John Travolta style. It wasn't at all. Every time he shows up, that movie just livens up. Yeah. I mean, it's already a good movie, and I think it would be decent without him, but he takes it to a different level.
Definitely.
Whatever reason he decided to go with dreadlocks and a tracksuit, I have no idea. Maybe he's a Run DMC fan. I have no idea. But it works, and he nails it. One of the most enjoyable villains I've seen this year so far. And I've seen some pretty good ones so far. Loki, Kate Beckinsale, and Total Recall. There's been some good ones, and he ranks right up there.
Yeah. And they don't make him completely heartless either, so it's hard to even like say he's really a villain, like 100% too. He's
just mad because basically Dax Shepard's character fucks him.
Yeah,
really, he does. I mean, that's and they at least own up to that. They don't just play it off like, oh, he's really a good guy caught in a bad. I mean, they realize that Charlie Bronson, which still makes me laugh that they used to name Charlie Bronson. He kind of screwed this guy over for a good reason, but he still did it.
Definitely,
and obviously, if you saw the trailer, you know one reason why he's upset.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny, and it's worth seeing.
Yeah, just like the characters will have these little things about them like that doing those little things about giving their characters something different than outside the the template of like your typical villain, typical like federal agent or whatever. Just these little things they do with the characters just really make it stand out above just being like a straight to video movie, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was pleasantly surprised and kind of shocked, to be honest with you, because I really didn't expect a whole lot.
Yeah.
The trailer looked kind of funny, but I did not expect much. What did you think about the production? I thought it was kind of a low-budget movie. It had some cool car chases, some laughs, and even a little bit of heart. But, Dax and, what did you say his name was? David Palmer?
Yeah.
The director?
David Palmer.
I thought they did a really good job with what's obviously a small budget.
Yeah. Don't remember if they said like how much the budget was, but I think it's pretty much all funded through them, and it just seemed like a bunch of guys having fun for the most part. And besides a couple of good chase scenes, everything, a lot of the movie is just them talking in like hotels or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty low key movie for the most part up until a couple of chase scenes, and then like towards the very end when you get to like the finale chase and stuff like that. And
I will say that the relationship between Annie and Charlie, Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard, I actually, granted they are in a real relationship in the really real world, mm-hmm. but I bought it the whole time. They seem like they genuinely care about each other.
Yeah.
They genuinely care about each other. So to see that kind of helps sell the movie too.
Yeah, because when I heard about those two were dating like years ago or whatever, I was just like, that just doesn't seem like a good couple. I was like, what does she see in him?
Yeah.
But
she could do so much better. Here's my address.
But like as you see their chemistry on screen, and it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, they seem like they would have a sweet, nice kind of relationship. So overall, what'd you think? I mean, what was your verdict if you had to?
Like I said, it's follows a very strict formula, so that has kind of a strike against it. And I would usually just dismiss this as kind of like that you should rent this, or I don't understand why it went to theaters. But with the acting and just you could tell there's some passion here. It really showed, and I'd give this like 6. I mean, I know it's not glowing review, $6 out of 10, but there's a lot of things that should have gone wrong with this movie, and it really surprised me. I think this would be a good date movie that wouldn't drive a guy crazy, so I'd recommend it definitely on that point. But I mean, this is just for me. This is I would recommend check this out in the theater, but usually something like this, I would say just wait for video. But I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10.
I was really surprised with how much fun I had with it. Dax Shepard wrote, directed, and stars in it, and you can tell, like Brad said, his heart was in it. Kristen Bell was sweet and funny as always. Please, America, you need to love her more because I want to see her more stuff. The stunts were really good. The car chases were fun, and you actually saw the action on screen, no quick cuts. So they directed it well because I can't stand car chases where I can't tell where the cars are turning. It drives me insane.
Yeah, lots of great stunts too. I think Dax did his own driving.
Yeah, and you could tell. I mean, you could tell everybody in the movie seemed like they were having fun. And Bradley Cooper made me want dreadlocks. So that alone, overall, a solid check your brain at the door action comedy. I give it 7 out of 10. And thanks, Brad, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Remember, go to YouTube, Propagander Pro.
Yep, Propagander Cult Movie Reviews. Talk about weird shit. Not like Hit and Run.
Okay, and that was Hit and Run. So now we're going to go to The Bourne Legacy. Brian, what the hell is it about?
All right, the Bourne Legacy is kind of a spin-off of the Jason Bourne universe. It follows Aaron Cross, who is an outcome agent, but when his program gets shut down because of previous events, the program directors start killing off its members. Cross dodges a bullet or a missile and begins his life or death trek to find a supply of the drugs he's been taking for his physical and mental enhancements. So, Aaron,
Yes,
what
sir?
did I know you? We've talked about it before, but I know you're not crazy about this plot.
I didn't like the story. No, the story was kind of dumb. I really love the Bourne series. I'm a big fan, and I know their plots. Those are the kind of movies that you guys have all seen. The Bourne movies, right? Mm-hmm. The Bourne movies are very much movies that seem like they're about a lot more than they really are. They're not nearly as deep as they seem. They're just well constructed, so they play out. They seem deeper, but this plot just is so done and lazy to me, and making him dependent on chemicals, and the whole story, like the entire story, is exactly what Brian said. It's him trying to find a way to handle his chemical addiction problem, basically. Would you agree, Brian? I mean, it's pretty much what the movie's about.
Yeah, but he's addicted in a way that is not what you typically think of when he's addicted.
No,
he is very dependent on it, and I won't explain why he's so dependent on it. But I really like the reasoning that they gave, the little backstory that he gives in the movie on why he's so hell-bent on finding more of a supply, and also trying to find maybe a permanent solution for it. I also kind of thought the plot was lacking some substance. I was fairly disappointed with, this is it. This is the big thing. This to me would have been a good subplot.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's
and I would have liked a bigger picture if they could have done this for maybe 30, 45 minutes of the movie, and when he was on a totally different mission for whatever reason. But I am kind of glad that they didn't do the same old tired, the one guy I can trust in Washington is the same guy that's the bad guy, and he's out to kill me.
Yeah, I
story
agree with
that they've done to death. So
you have Edward Norton pops up, who's a quality actor, and he's basically the guy that's trying to hunt Aaron Cross down. And granted, love the name Aaron Cross because his first name signifies killing machine.
not to be confused with Tyler Perry's Alex Cross.
No. Aaron Cross. Just think about it. Killing machine. But you got Edward Norton. No. Yeah,
killing for Jesus.
Wow. But you've got Edward Norton popping in, and he's this, and he does a very good role as the bad guy, basically, of the film. But they never really share screen time. He's not really a factor too much into the plot. It seems like he was put there. Brian, you tell me if you agree with me. He was kind of put there in the story for future movies, not really for this movie, but for future movies. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I can see that. Definitely, they've definitely set him up for deeper, I guess, hopefully deeper stories down the line.
Yeah.
And he's, I personally kind of liked him, although he is the kind of typical bureaucratic bastard. But, but yeah, he was pretty good. I thought he did okay. I thought Jeremy Renner did a pretty good job of making it believable that he's really hell bent on he's going to do whatever it takes to track down a bigger supply of these drugs than the few that he has left.
No, I would agree. Jeremy Renner does a fine job. He's no Matt Damon. I mean, he's no Matt Damon. Because I think Matt Damon is Jason Bourne. I don't know if they should have called it something else, but just the fact that the movie's called The Bourne Legacy really messes you up a little bit to some degree. I mean, people are comparing it to James Bond, but James Bond movies they're never called James Bond, and it's the same character in every movie. This is a different character, but it's called The Bourne Legacy. Now, they say Jason Bourne, I'd say they say Jason Bourne in the movie probably more times than they say Aaron Cross. But it just takes you out of it a little bit. But Jeremy Renner, I think he does a fine job. He has a very intense focus that we've seen in his movies before. I've never really seen him as a leading man, but I think he held his own. Who I liked most was Rachel Weisz. She was a lot stronger than I thought she'd be because she went from that character that was a confident, and I guess we didn't really talk about her much, but she's the doctor that basically designed this chemical program for Aaron Cross that he has to get with and use her to find out more about his chemical dependency stuff.
Yeah, I really liked her a lot too. She was very believable, and some of her reactions were sort of the reactions that you would expect people to do if they were in that situation. Almost, quote unquote realistic. If this was really happened to them,
Mm-hmm.
Especially in her house that kind of stuck with me. Like, I can see me acting this way.
Yeah, she was my favorite part of the movie. How the movie looked wise, the movie looks like a Bourne action flick. It really does. Some people are complaining that there isn't enough action. I don't understand that because, Brian, I thought there was plenty, and most of it was really good. Some of it, I mean, the wolves, I thought that was a kick-ass scene where he basically takes on some stray wolves. The house scene that Brian alluded to, that was well done. So I thought there's plenty of action.
Yeah, it wasn't a total action flick like The Expendables, but there was enough in little pockets of the movie that kept you kind of tied it over to the next action scene, whatever, fight scenes, chases, whatever. I thought they were all really well. And it really, like I say, it really kind of made it feel like it was something from the Bourne franchise.
Yes, which is very important. And the end of the film, it had a really strong ending up until the actual ending, which I think Brian and I were both agreed. We were like, is that the ending? Because it seems like it ends and you had no idea the ending was even coming. Because it seemed like there was another 20 minutes to happen. And then it's just over.
Because there's...
You can't... don't spoil it, obviously.
Right. There's a big action scene, and then you expect some sort of cool, like a warm down period before the movie actually ends.
A resolution, yeah.
Right, and you get nothing.
We'll see how that plays out, because that was an interesting way to end the movie. So we'll see how it works. I mean, it's not a bad ending. That's not what we're saying. It's just not what we expected at all. So what was your verdict on it, B?
Well, at about 2 hours and 15 minutes, I really felt like I got my money's worth out of it. There was a few shortcomings, and I really, like we just mentioned, I really didn't care for the ending. But overall, for me, it was an entertaining ride. I'd give it a solid 7.
Okay. I think it's a good spinoff, just a weak story. The characters are strong, so I could see a franchise going on from here. I think they should call it something else, though, because that's just messing me up. The ending, I felt, just popped up out of nowhere. But Renner did a good enough job as Aaron Cross. Aaron, killing machine. But he never came close to Matt Damon. Like, Matt Damon is not going to be sweating anything. If they came up and said, you know what, Matt Damon's going to come back to the role, and they said Jeremy Renner's out, it would make total sense, and I'd be perfectly cool with it, because Matt Damon is Jason Bourne. But Jeremy Renner did good. Rachel Weisz, she had me captivated. I could just have a crush, who knows, but she did a good job. Tony Gilroy, he directed the movie. I thought it was top-notch. Too bad he didn't put that kind of effort into the writing. But overall, it was a good flick. I would watch the next one. $10 is the full price of admission. I'd give it $6.
Let me toss this out to you real quick before we move on.
And I'll catch it.
All right. Now the title is. I agree with you as far as the title goes. At this point I think at this stage in the game, with whatever follow up movie comes after this, it should be something. They should take the name Bourne out of it. Mm-hmm. This title I'm fine with because it's with the name Legacy, it implies that you're handing it off to somebody else.
Right.
So I'm fine with that. But I agree. Going forward, they need to drop the name Bourne out of it. Come up with something else, the Treadstone Files or whatever. But I don't know. Just my 2 cents.
Awesome.
The
That is
Treadstone
an
Files
awful
novel.
title.
I didn't say they had to fucking use it.
All right.
But if they do want to contact me,
They won't. I wouldn't go sitting by that phone.
Yeah.
I will. I've checked my schedule. I do have a few openings. We can work it out. So
Yeah, get a hold of them. The campaign is the last one. I know everybody's probably sick of hearing my voice, but I'll be real quick about it because I'm the only one that saw it. Shut the hell up. This is what the campaign's about. Will Ferrell plays Cam Brady. He's a long-term congressman who has a major oopsie when he porn talks his mistress on the wrong answering machine. That's actually really funny. He calls a very religious family's house and leaves a message thinking it's his mistress, and it's just dirty and wrong. Scott, you'd love that part. So a pair of wealthy CEOs decide to put their money behind a better candidate, and in comes Marty Huggins, played by Zach Galifianakis. How can I say that name correctly? Tell me that makes any sense.
There's no R's in it.
Yeah, it's true. Marty is a small-town, quiet, weird-ass dude with a powerful dad, but a good heart. Marty decides to run for office, but that sets off a nasty campaign because both candidates go a little bit beyond rational, and I say that so loosely. They go crazy. And I want to be real clear. This movie is Anchorman Ricky Bobby the politician. That's exactly what it is. It's a Will Ferrell movie through and through. The script is very much a look at how shady both sides can be. And I was honestly shocked at that because it's left as Hollywood political films tend to be. The movie doesn't really lean more one way than the other one. That still surprises me because I was expecting, okay, the Republican's a total dumbass or whatever, and the Democrat is the guy who's going to end up winning. And it didn't play out that way. They played both sides were idiots, which is about how it really is. The film is very R-rated, but it never really gets foul. It's not going for gross out jokes or stuff like that. Even though it has a little bit of raunchy humor every now and then, it goes more for clever jokes than anything. Will Ferrell is Will Ferrell. If you like that same arrogant buffoon that he is in every single movie, you'll like it. If you don't like him, you're not going to like it. He's the same character he is in every other movie. Nothing different. But Zach Galifianakis shocked the hell out of me. I got, Justin and Brian, you'll probably relate to this more because you probably remember his movies, but you remember John Candy?
oh yeah,
Yeah. He comes very close to John Candyland.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, really close. He's the most energetic I've ever seen him because he's not playing the same Alan from the Wolfpack Hangover movies. I mean, which is who he's been the last couple of years. I mean, he plays he starts off being just goofy and one note and you think, well, this character is going to get on my nerves. But then you start to root for him. He turns into a really sweet guy and he has moments where you really feel for the guy. And that's something that John Candy's the only comedian in the last 20 years that has pulled that off well, in my opinion. And I'm not even a Zach fan, and I was surprised that he pulled it off for me.
It's like a lovable loser kind of thing.
Yeah, he's the odd, weird guy, and you end up rooting for him, and he
Kind of like Aaron.
That means you end up rooting for me.
I don't root for him.
But I was sincerely impressed. A bunch of other guys pop up: Brian Cox, Dan Aykroyd, John Lithgow, Jason Sudeikis, Dylan McDermott, who. You guys are movie buffs know that Dylan McDermott is often mistaken for Dermot Mulroney. Mm-hmm. And they play that joke in the movie. That's actually
really
funny. Yeah, they use that joke in the movie.
That's awesome.
It's very much a comedy, so there's no flashy car chases or anything. Director Jay Roach, he's handled some of the most successful comedies of all time. He did Austin Powers series, First Two Meet the Parents, and this is no different. The guy knows funny, and he knows when to go for it. So, bottom line, Will Ferrell, same idiot he is in every movie. If you don't like his characters before, if you don't like Anchorman or Ricky Bobby, don't even bother. Mm-hmm. But if you laugh your ass off with those movies, I like this better than I liked Talladega Nights and pretty close to Anchorman.
Really?
Yeah. But I like politics too, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Zach impressed me with his complete 180 from his recent roles. I had almost written the guy off Because, I think we talked a week or two ago where I said he's no powerhouse. He doesn't even belong in the same camp as Will Ferrell. I would say he's got the chops. Now, whether he continues to do it, we'll see what happens. But I was absolutely shocked. They do have a lot of ridiculous ads and whatnot, and the candidates are constantly trying to one-up each other. But for all the absurdity and how ridiculous they go, I mean, at one point, one candidate is doing an ad basically to show how much more manly he is because he has a mistress than the other guy. And you know how ridiculous it is. But and his campaign advisor's like, no, you can't do that. Will Ferrell's just like, yeah, we can. He's a pussy. And it's just stuff like that just shocks the hell out of me. But you can see a kernel of truth in every ounce of it. That's what's hysterical. So I love politics, but also can understand how the system is broken. And this movie skewers the hell out of it. So just one of the funnier comedies I've been to this year. Out of 10, I give it 7.5, which I don't give many comedies. And listen for my favorite line in the movie. I can't explain the scenario because it'll ruin everything. But when you hear a character say, I want you to put my head in the freezer, I laugh for 5 minutes straight. Okay, that's the campaign. Now let's go to box office. Bourne opened with $38 million, which is less than the last two Bourne flicks, but that's to be expected. It's a spinoff. So it'll be interesting to see how the film's legs hold up. Is that kind of more or less than what you guys thought it would be?
I figured probably a little more because Bourne's got a pretty big name.
Yeah, I don't know if they're disappointed with this or not, but, we'll see. The campaign had the largest opening for any film centered on a political election ever, which, to be honest, how many people rush out for those kind of movies? And if it didn't have Will Ferrell, it wouldn't have been that well.
I think it's the two big comedy guys in one movie. I think it's even more than just Will Ferrell. Seeing Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis help that.
Absolutely. But somebody actually has that statistic.
Yeah.
Who the hell's keeping up with that?
That's what I was trying to wrap my brain around was that's one hell of a statistic there. So.
Well, hell, it's like when you're watching a football game and they start talking about, in the category of kicks made into the wind on a day when it's beneath 10 degrees, this guy's got the highest rating. It's like, who the fuck calculates that?
It was the funniest statistic I've read in a while. Hope Springs opened with $14.6 million, which is actually a decent start since this demographic takes a while to get out of bed and get moving. And Nitrous Circus opened to an absolutely horrible $1.1 million. 1.1.
It's actually, isn't it Nitro Circus?
What did I say? Nitrous?
Nitrous.
Whatever it is.
It rhymes with circus.
Maybe that's why nobody saw it. They didn't know what it was called.
Are you guys surprised, though, that the Black Knight... the Black Knight... I'm sorry, Aaron's racism is overcoming. The Dark Knight has fallen to number 3 so soon?
No, not really. It's already made it like $390 million.
Oh, that's right. You hated it, so I could see you not being
I gave it a 7.5. How did I hate it? Jeez. Because I didn't put it on my mantle as the greatest movie of the year. I hate it.
No, that's The Avengers.
Lord have mercy. All right, well, now it's time for Justin's upcoming attractions.
Justin's upcoming attractions.
All right, well, this week we've got 3 movies. One of them is opening up on August 22nd. The other 2 are opening up on August 24th. Hit and Run, which you earlier heard reviewed, is coming out on the 22nd. The rest of us didn't get to go see that. I believe Aaron's special, and he got to a pre-screening, and he just so special. But I'll go ahead and he reviewed it, but I'll give you the quickie on this one.
Green is not a good color for you.
Envy, it's the world's worst cologne. Hit and Run is a romantic action comedy written by Dax Shepard with David Palmer and Shepard co-directing again. Their first film being Brothers Justice, which came out in 2010. The film stars Shepard, Kristen Bell, Kristen Chenoweth, Bradley Cooper, and Tom Arnold. A former getaway driver busts out of his witness protection program identity in order to help his girlfriend get to Los Angeles. His former gang, his girlfriend's ex-lover, and United States Marshal chase after him. Considering that we've already heard Aaron review it, I guess we don't have to ask him his opinion on it. Brian, what about you? Would you stop for this, or would you motor on and hope whoever you hit didn't grab your license plate as they rolled under your car?
I'm going to go with option B. It just sounds to me really. I haven't really seen too much on this. I know this really just kind of sprung up as far as trailers and stuff fairly recently, and but yeah, it looks entertaining. I'm just not going to rush out to go see it.
I'm in the same boat. This is one I'll probably watch on rental. Not gonna rush to the theater to see it though.
Yeah, I doubt I'll see it in theaters either, but the trailer made me laugh hysterically, and I have just got this unquenchable, raging crush on Kristen Bell. So she's in it. You're pretty well guaranteed that I'll buy a ticket, though. I never did see that stupid-ass Rome movie she did.
Which one?
That Rome movie. It was a romantic comedy with the dude from Transformers.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah,
Actually,
what's
that was actually pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah. Surprisingly, the wife was watching it one time, and so I watched it with her, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's not great, but
Maybe you can give us more of your thoughts. You can do it as a flashback.
yeah, hold your breath.
Okay. All right, August 24th, we've got two films. The first one, The Apparition. This one's a supernatural thriller directed and written by Todd Lincoln. Stars Ashley Greene and a bunch of people you'd probably recognize but never remember their names. When frightening events start to occur in their home, young couple Kelly, played by the beautiful Ashley Greene, and Ben discover that they're being haunted by a presence that was accidentally conjured during a university parapsychological experiment. The horrifying apparition feeds on their fears and torments them no matter where they try to run. Their last hope is an expert in the supernatural named Patrick, played by some dude named Tom Felton. But even with his help, they may already be too late to save themselves from this terrifying force of death. Aaron, as a believer in the great sky spirit, I'm sure something like this appeals, right?
It does look kind of cool.
Notice I didn't call you a Catholic this time.
Because I'm not Catholic.
No, because I'm growing and remembering things.
I appreciate that.
I laid off the drugs.
It looks interesting. I'm actually... There's another one called The Possession coming out in a couple weeks, and I think I'll hold out for that one, to be honest with you. This looks good, but The Possession looks better, and there's only so many ghost movies I tend to want to see. So I'll hold out.
I'm really excited. Horror films with a supernatural tone are easily my favorite of the genre, as evidenced with my love of the Paranormal Activity series. I don't know. Nothing creeps me out more than an entity that isn't grounded in the rules of science. You have no explanation for it. That just creeps me out. Something I'm definitely gonna want to see like on opening night with a crowd of people. I love being scared in the theaters with that kind of film. I'm down.
Yeah, I thought the preview looked kind of hokey at first, but the more it went along, the more engrossed I got into it. So it looks pretty good. I have to kind of agree with Aaron though. There's only so many of these I can take it within a couple of months span, and I'm gonna hold out for the Possession.
How creepy is that final shot though?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It looks pretty good. All right, the last film we're going to be discussing is called Premium Rush. The worst title ever. This is going to be an action film directed by David Cope and written by Cope and John Camps. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Michael Shannon, Dania Ramirez, and Jamie Chung. I have no idea who these people are. The film centers on a New York City bicycle messenger, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, who picks up an envelope from Columbia University. A dirty cop, played by Michael Shannon, a.k.a. General Zod, desperate to get his hands on the envelope, chases the bicycle messenger around the city. Scotty, this is a prime example of why I don't believe in exercise that doesn't take place in a gym under air conditioning, but I'm sure you'd be running right along with Gordon-Levitt's bike the whole movie. Any interest in this one?
Yeah, this was like a hell of a good time to me. I've been wanting to see Michael Shannon in something ever since Take Shelter, and he looks badass in this movie. I'm with you that I think Premium Rush is a terrible title. I wish they would have gone with the tagline instead. Ride Like Hell. I think that's a better title for the movie, to be honest.
I think
with
anything's a title better than Premium Rush, yeah.
John Carter?
Premium Rush of Mars.
Does this trailer remind any of you guys of that movie Ronin?
It reminds me of Quicksilver.
Yeah, reminds me of
Quicksilver.
That was a Kevin Bacon bike messenger movie in the 90s? 80s? I don't know when it was.
It just looks like one long car chase sequence, except it's on a bike. And then you get the mysterious what's in the case kind of thing. It reminds me of Ronin, which
I like Ronin, but it doesn't remind me of Ronin.
No.
I have noticed it. I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's won me over, finally. I just don't want to see it. It looks kind of cheesy. I'm hoping that there's a lot more to the plot since he's in it, because I think he's a smart kid, guy, whatever. There's just nothing about it that makes me go, I got to see this in the theater.
Not like Looper.
Yeah, Looper looks good.
Looper does look good.
Looper looks good.
I'm excited, though. I think this looks like a lot of fun.
Brian, you want to see
Yeah.
this?
Kinda, but I kind of agree with the other guys. It scares me that this is like Phone Booth with Colin Farrell, but instead of being stuck on there, he's just kind of stuck on this bike, and that's really all that's going to be going on with this movie. And I need a little bit more than that. So
You didn't like Phone Booth?
no, that was fucking horrible.
Oh, I liked Phone Booth.
And to give you an idea of how horrible they couldn't even come up with 94 minutes of material for that movie.
Well, dude, he's hanging out in
it was
a
like
phone
87 or 88 minutes. It wasn't even a full hour and a half.
booth. He was
So-
hanging out in a phone booth. What more? I'm surprised he made it that long.
How stupid is that?
All right, well, we'll go ahead and bring this to
I
a
can't
close.
argue with it.
I don't give a shit about this movie. I'm not a big bike person. So yeah, unless there are machine guns taped to the front of his bike handles, I don't give a shit. So we have got 3 films. Guys, of these 3 films, which one are you more likely to go out to the theater to see? Will you be seeing Hit and Run? Will you be seeing The Apparition? Or will you be seeing Premium Rush? Brian, you go first.
Oh, it's a tight one between The Apparition and Premium Rush, but I'm actually going to lean towards The Apparition.
All right, Scotty,
I'm going to go with Apparition as well. I love scary movies in the theater.
Aaron.
Oh, thanks for all of you to trust my review. I've already seen Hit and Run, and I'm still going to say I'd rather see that again.
Really?
Yep, it was that good. It was a good movie.
All right, well, Aaron, normally I do not agree with you, but yeah, I like to see Hit and Run. So it's 2-on-2. I think we can take these fuckers.
I think we could.
Bring it, bitch.
With IQs and body mass, we could kick their asses.
Damn right.
All right,
You have to catch me first.
Ah, shit.
I got a car.
My kryptonite.
He said my kryptonite. All right, now it's time for
What's this movie?
What's This Movie? Each week we play a clip from a movie. This could be our choice or a listener's if you want to suggest one. If you think you know what the clip is, you email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com or send us a direct message on Twitter at @H_outsider, and we will announce those that got it correct on the air. As well, we will draw a name from those that guessed correctly and send them an official Amaho Hollywood Outsider t-shirt. Last week's answer from listener Paul S. was Troll 2, or more popularly known as one of the worst films of all time. Those that guessed right were Sean M., Greg S., Brian M., Mike F., and Brad P. So now Scotty is going to draw a winner of the Amaho t-shirt. Scotty?
All right, it is Mike F.
Mike F., congratulations. You won an Amaho t-shirt. Thanks to
Way to
everybody
go,
else.
F Mike.
What's that?
Way to go, F Mike.
I think it's Mike F., but
Mike F.
Whichever.
so we will be getting in contact with you to find out exactly where you live. And then we'll...
Be sending Scotty over to hang out outside your window.
I'll be the one with binoculars.
yeah.
Please don't have any children.
This week, it is Brian's choice movie clip. So if you think you know what this clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com or send us a direct message on Twitter at H_outsider. And those that guess it correctly, we will draw from the winners next week for a free Ho t-shirt. Here you go.
I don't teach math.
No, Frank told me you were a math tutor.
Well, he told me that he told you I was a hooker and that you didn't care.
My son bought me a hooker? Give me back my pants.
No, he didn't buy me for you.
Oh, what a relief.
He just wants me to marry you.
Yep.
You said I look like Grace Kelly.
Who told you that?
Frank, he probably lied about that too.
No, he didn't. I did say that.
All right, if you think you know what that is, send us email or tweet us. All right, now let's go to the couch, where we talk about the latest in TV and home video news. You don't like twit?
You're really going to keep twit?
Yeah.
Twit us, everybody. Twit us. Give us a twit.
Jodie Foster is set to direct and exec produce Angie's Body. It's a series for Showtime about a shrewd and lethal woman in charge of a crime syndicate.
Man, this must be a slow week for TV news if this is what we're talking about.
It is pretty slow.
Yeah, I mean, she's set to direct. It's about a female-centered mob drama project. Yeah, you know, it's interesting, I guess. I'm not a big mob fan. I mean, unless it's got The Sopranos in it. I don't know. And it would be interesting to see it from a woman's perspective. Usually it's the guy. And if there is a female character, normally she's just getting, beat up from time to time for lipping off. But The only really interesting thing about this is that she had been eyeing network TV or cable TV channels, and I think you're going to see that more and more as channels like FX and AMC garner more and more Emmys because they're putting together more quality shows. People like her and others are going to go that direction because I think the networks kind of get hamstrung. So, yeah, it's a good idea for her, and we'll see. I don't know. I'm not all that interested, though.
I love Jodie Foster. I mean, if she was in front of the camera, I would be dying to see this.
I'm not a big fan of hers. I think the only movie she ever did that ever really touched me on any sort of level was Contact.
I knew it.
I knew it.
Yeah.
It's science
and I'm a
fiction.
sci-fi
Yeah.
dude, so yeah, I mean, they should have sent a poet.
Which one did you like, Brian? The Accused?
Yeah, because it reminds us of the stories that Scott told us when he was a kid.
Because she got raped.
That's actually a really good movie, though.
I can't believe I just said that.
You did.
The last one she directed was that Mel Gibson movie, The Beaver. That had no interest in that film at all.
I heard that movie was actually decent.
Really?
Okay, that's the worst title ever.
It is. It's a really bad title.
Premium Russia gets beat by that.
There's a lot of people that went to see that were really disappointed.
Okay, first, not a lot of people went and saw that.
Yeah, the two who saw it were like, what? Where's the beaver?
He's got his hand in the beaver.
In other news, Warner Brothers is closing their direct-to-DVD unit, Warner Premiere. That means no more Lost Boys classic revivals. This
Yeah,
is
it looks like it's just one more sign that we're moving straight to a digital world here. But with you got movies when they made movies like Ace Ventura Jr., Pet Detective. So if that's any indication of the stuff that they're making, this just screams that it should have been shut down years ago.
You're right. Who really buys the direct-to-DVD movies? They're never any good.
People at Walmart.
That's true. $5 and it's just laying there. I'm sure Ace Ventura Jr. was probably a classic film.
Is that a real movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You want to see it, don't you?
No,
You could have saved them.
not even a little bit.
You put 4 people out of work.
That's all right.
You know, and here's what I kind of feel for is whatever actor played Ace Ventura Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Because here you are. I know you're probably a struggling actor / waiter / car parker valet guy
/ prostitute.
What exactly? You know, and so he's like, "All right, I got a role," and he's going, "I'm doing what? Yeah, okay, whatever. This way I can say I'm in a movie."
Does it pay?
Right.
Do I have to blow anybody? Good? Okay.
Well, let's go into, did you see that? We've only got one real TV show to talk about this week. Justin has been watching ad nauseum
Oh, yes.
Duck Dynasty. What the hell is Duck Dynasty?
Oh, don't judge me. And I can already feel the judgment coming. I hate most reality TV shows. I especially hate shows that I feel like venerate the worst amongst us, whether it's those, desperate housewives of wherever the fuck they're living. Any of those shows, I hate them. But last weekend or the weekend before, my wife and I were watching something on TV on the DVR, and when it turned off, it happened to be on A&E, and this show called Duck Dynasty was on. And the show it follows this family that the father originally started a company making duck calls. And he had 2 sons. One of them became the CEO, and through his leadership, took the company in a big direction, and they're making millions of dollars now. And so the show kind of follows these people who are really just down home, backwoods, Louisiana, duck hunter types. Yet now they've got all this money and now they've got this show, and it just kind of follows their exploits. Not the kind of show I ever would have watched on my own, and I wouldn't have watched it that night had I known it was coming on, but it was already playing. And as soon as the show on the DVR stopped, somebody said something funny, and I thought, all right, I'll sit here and I'll watch this for a second. And a second turned into a minute, turned into watching the episode airing immediately afterwards. It is funny. The guys on it are so much funnier than I ever would have thought. They are not the Hicks I anticipated them being. They're Hicks. I mean, the whole cast looks like the Leonard Skinner. They should just be playing Molly Hatchet songs or something. But they're genuinely funny. They're genuinely insightful. Most of them are actually much more intelligent than I would have thought. And so I got a lot of episodes off of DirecTV's video on demand service. It is a damn funny show. I think I've seen 6 or 7 episodes. I'm thinking about downloading all of them in iTunes because it is really sharp, really funny. The only thing I can hope is that PETA never watches an episode because they are shooting vermits and critters every fucking episode. And if they're not blowing up beaver dams, they're shooting ducks, or they're shooting snakes, or they're shooting something.
I'm
So
shocked.
animals are killed on a regular basis on this show. But it's hysterical. I love it. I absolutely love the show.
I have seen part of that. It actually is pretty good. I haven't sat down and watched full episodes yet, but there was one where the I guess these guys are like in a warehouse and on the rollers. I don't know if you've seen this one, but they're like making all these different things, these different carts and trays and stuff and boxes that they're sitting on. And one guy would crawl in this box and they'd push him down this this line of rollers, and they would just do this for quite a while, just laughing, and they fall off the end of it, and then I guess the boss comes in and he's like, "Hey, what's going on? All right, it's my turn."
Don't they do like a kayak or something at one point? Like,
yeah, right. It's just like they're just going with bigger and bigger things and just shoving them down this line. It was great.
It's really funny and sweethearted. I can't find a fault with this show. It's funny.
I never in a million years would have thought that Macumber would be recommending Duck Dynasty.
You're no more shocked than I am, man.
Wow. Now I might have to check it out. I've never even heard of this show.
I'm borderline.
I don't watch reality TV at all.
It's on A&E, and I would recommend this over just about any other of their reality shows, whether it's Pawn Stars or whatever. It's really sweet, really funny.
Let's go to DVD releases, Scotty.
All right, this is the releases for August 21st. First is The Dictator. This is the Sacha Baron Cohen crude comedy about a stereotypical dictator visiting America to visit with the UN when things go badly. Supposed hilarity ensues. If you remember, Aaron gave this movie a $4 out of 10 back in a previous episode.
Because it sucks.
Do keep in mind, though, Aaron is not a big fan of dick and fart jokes. And I imagine with Sacha Baron Cohen, it's probably rampant in that.
Aaron's a hater. I hater.
I don't know who Eric is, but Aaron's a hater.
Did I say Eric?
He's your alternate name.
It's your doppelganger. Also, Chimpanzee. This Tim Allen narrated documentary follows a 3-year-old, you guessed it, chimpanzee, who is separated from his group and adopted by a full-grown male chimpanzee. Next up, in Bernie, a mortician befriends and kills a wealthy widow and goes to great lengths to convince everyone that she is still alive. Title sounds strangely familiar with that story. This stars Jack Black, Shirley MacLaine, and Mr. Lawbreaker himself, Matthew McConaughey. Finally,
No.
Finally, A Separation. This is a story about an Iranian couple who struggles with a decision whether to take care of an elderly family member with Alzheimer's or move to another country to better the life of their son. Also in TV released this week, House's final season, as well as Revenge Season 1. All right, so that again is for the week of August 21st.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
Next up, we've got our flashback DVD or Blu-ray segment. This is where each week our hosts recommend a little-known or obscure film that we hope you'll give a chance. This week it's my turn, actually, so I'm going to be talking about a little movie here. Just a little preface on here. If you know me or have listened to this podcast at all, you probably know that I was raised in a very strict religious environment. I attended a Baptist church in Wisconsin, was enrolled in a
Are we
private...
going to start crying or feeling
No.
sorry for you? All right.
I was also enrolled in a private school that was created in the basement of this church, and the majority of my childhood revolved around attending services probably about 4 to 5 times a week. Needless to say, religion was a very prominent part of my life, and I was instructed to never question anything. As I've gotten older, I've started to see the problem with this kind of blind accepting of anything and everything, and I stumbled across this documentary that was of great interest to me. The film's called Religulous, and this follows Bill Maher. If you are familiar with him, he's a stand-up comedian and self-proclaimed pragmatic atheist, and he basically goes around and interviews and challenges several people and groups of people on their varying faiths. He at least claims to go into these interviews with an open mind, more or less asking people to, quote-unquote, sell him on religion in general, almost as if he truly wants to be convinced as to why so many people in the world hold fast to their faith. But as we all know, there's 2 things you never bring up in a conversation, and it's politics and religion. Why? Because it makes people uncomfortable and oftentimes very angry. But what makes this movie so interesting is Bill Maher throws this policy completely out the window and genuinely gets a rise out of nearly everyone he talks to, many times in hilarious fashion. And I laughed out loud several times in this movie. Now, when I recommend this movie, I don't recommend it because I think people should throw their beliefs out the window. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of religion or anything like that. But I believe there's something to be said about going into anything with an open mind. A lot of people I grew up with as a kid don't have an open mind even to this day, will never will. I encourage everyone to see it, if nothing else, to make interesting conversation, because there's a lot of interesting conversation to be said. So once again, the title is Religulous.
I will agree with you. I love the movie, and I'm a Baptist, but it's not open-minded at all. It's very much skewed toward atheists.
Well, that's what I said. He claims to.
He's a lying son of a bitch.
I know.
I love Bill Maher, but he's lying his ass off.
Oh, yeah.
The movie is totally for atheists. There's nothing in it where he gives any religion really a chance. His mission very much is to discount religion. And
if you see a show at all, if you see a show at all on HBO, you know he's very against religion and thinks anybody that follows any religion is basically an idiot.
Yeah, which isn't fair, because you know what? Believe what you want to believe. Those that don't believe, those that do believe, everybody's right because it's your opinion. Right. So it's whatever you want to believe. But the movie itself is pretty interesting, and he does address some really interesting questions.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Yeah, it makes you think, but you have to keep in mind that he's skewered.
Oh yeah,
I don't follow that. To me, following that movie is also following that blindly, because you have to. People that just blindly accept it are already atheists. You're not going to get anybody that's devoutly really religious that's going to see that movie and change what they think.
Oh, absolutely. So. But part of my point is I want to hear what people that are hardcore conservative Christians or of any faith, what they say, what their rebuttal to some of his arguments are. I just think it's a very interesting conversation, and I'm shocked that Justin hasn't commented on this at all yet.
I'm biting my tongue.
Let it rip. Do you like the movie?
Nothing for me to talk about. I liked Religulous. I think Bill Maher is, he is lying if he wanted to try in any way say that this film is fair. But he comes from a particular point of view, and he made a film towards that point of view. So it's his right to do so. And sometimes I think he loses any points he wants to earn through a lot of his sarcasm and some cynicism.
I agree with that.
That's true.
I think
it's like a Michael Moore documentary.
Yes, to some degree. If he would have played it a little smarter and actually tried to be, because there are scenes where he seems like he's coming across open-minded, like I sincerely want to answer the question, but he takes every chance he can to go for the cheap joke,
right?
And that's where he loses me from any kind of faith perspective.
Well,
granted, I take people. I don't care if you're atheist or religious. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But I don't want to keep going on this one movie, but it is a polarizing kind of movie. If you watch it and you're very devoutly religious, odds are you're probably going to be angry.
Yeah.
Now let's go to our Stump the Hoe answer. Justin, what was your question again? Let's find out what the answer is.
All right. 3 of the characters from Third Rock from the Sun, played by Kristen Johnston, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and French Stewart, all went on to star in live-action movie versions of famous cartoon shows. Gordon-Levitt played Cobra Commander in G.I. Joe, and French Stewart played Inspector Gadget. Now, who did Kristen Johnston play? I had A, Delilah in Speed Racer, B, Natasha Fatale in Boris and Natasha the Movie, Moose and Squirrel. C, Dr. Liz Wilson in Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, and D, Wilma Flintstone in the Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. Aaron, you said D, Wilma Flintstone. Scotty, you said A, Delilah. And Brian, you went with B, Natasha Fatale. Of course, the answer is D, Wilma Flintstone and the Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas.
Should have known Speed Racer was too easy of an answer.
You should have known I was right. So let's go. Let's go to our From the Outside In topic, where each week we talk about a topic on ours or our listeners' minds. This week, with the Bourne series spun off in another direction, we decided we'd talk about what film characters from other series would you like to see spun off into a series of their own. Justin, how about you go first?
I've got 3. The first one was almost immediately to mind, and it's a character of Liz Sherman, played by Selma Blair in Hellboy and Hellboy 2. I loved her ability. I think she's such a compelling character in the film. She doesn't get nearly enough time and space to tell her story, but I would have been really fascinated to see her complex psychological character given a full movie to kind of express itself, and just to see those really pretty fire effects that they used for her character. So yeah, Liz Sherman, I'd like to see a film of her.
All right, you want to just round robin the rest?
Sure.
We'll just go around. All right, Brian, what do you got?
How about Harry Potter?
He's got his own
He had a
series.
movie.
He's got
Did he? All right. Well, okay. Move on. No, the was Neville? The guy who was the nerd.
Longbottom.
Yeah.
Got the goofy teeth.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he started out as this total nerd. He was while everybody else was going to these fancy soirees and all this stuff. He's walking around with a tray. He's got to work himself through school. Apparently, I guess you can do that as child labor is okay over there.
They do that.
So, but by the end of it, he's coming to his own. He's grown a backbone or something, and he's kind of badass. So,
Spoiler alert: hero of the fucking franchise.
Yeah.
well, so whatever. If they haven't seen it, statute of limitations is passed
Yeah. Scott, what
for
do you
that
got?
for that big one.
Good pick.
That is a good pick.
I've got two actually from the same movie. No, I understand. It's all they're from the same movie though. The Boondock Saints, either Agent Smecker or Rocco. I would love to see a story of leading up to Rocco, because how he got crazy and that kind of stuff. Or Agent Smecker. He was an interesting character in that movie. I'd love to see like a crime something around him.
That's an interesting choice.
I think it'd be
Well,
cool.
in the second Boondocks movie, didn't they say Rocco died? Or do you want to see like a prequel stuff of?
He's saying like a prequel. He said how he got to that.
Like how he got up to that point. Yeah.
I can see that.
All right.
In similar fashion, this might sound awful, but I'd like to see a movie on from Christoph Waltz's character of Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know the guy's evil in that flick, but I think in his mind he's doing good, and I would love to see a movie told from his eyes. Because, all these years we've seen tons of Nazi movies, and it's always Nazis bad, Nazis bad, Nazis bad. I would like to see a movie told from somebody like that's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, those make the best villains, those who really believe they're the hero of their own movie.
exactly. So that's what I mean. Wouldn't it be interesting to see his take on how he sees this world? I mean, granted, it's an awful world, but I would love to see that. It'll never happen, but I'd love to see it. Justin, your turn.
Two characters that really just endeared themselves to me in the films that they were in. And in fact, two of the characters from the book that I recently published are basically sci-fi rip-offs of these two guys. And I did it because, they're an homage to these two guys because I love them so much. But Pintle and Ragetti from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. This is the short, balding, fat pirate and his friend with the wooden eye. I thought they were both so funny. Every time they were on the screen, they kind of stole the film for me. And I would love to just see a movie of these two pirate dipshits working their way through the Caribbean.
That's a good call.
I think it would be a lot of fun.
That would be.
B?
Chris Rock's character in the Lethal Weapon movies.
Wow.
Well, I should say the last one.
Yeah, it was in Lethal Weapon 4.
You have him spin off. He could be the kind of flip it. He could be the comic relief. Have him paired up with a crotchety old white guy. Take it from there.
Didn't they call that movie Bad Company? Scott, what do you got?
You mentioned it earlier, and I actually did have this written down before, but I think it would be fun to see Short Round.
Seriously?
Yeah, like leading up to right before he meets Dr.
Isn't he
Jones.
like 50 now? I don't know if that
Well, yeah. I mean, it would have been fun to see like his adventures leading up to meeting Dr. Jones.
I always wanted to see how the hell he did meet up with Dr. Jones.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, was he just in the market for a small Asian boy, or what?
Because it was never explained in the.
Because Aaron's like, I want to be in that market.
What's that website?
Creamofsomeyoungguy.com.
Wow. And my next one would be Terry Crews, Hail Caesar from The Expendables. I want to see an action movie with just him and that big giant fucking gun.
He was so awesome.
He is, and he's funny as hell.
He was.
The guy's, he's primarily known as a comedic actor. I mean, he's the crazy black guy in I don't know how many Wayans Brothers movies. He's really funny, and he's obviously got the action credentials at this point. I think he could carry a movie, and I think somebody should give it to him and call it Hail Caesar. I'd go see it. I don't care.
He's in Newsroom. We've been talking about that.
Yeah.
show.
How does he do in that dramatic fashion?
It's really good.
Really?
Is he shooting motherfuckers?
No, he's
shooting people in the newsroom.
No, he plays a security bodyguard type character. He plays off Will McAvoy, played by Jeff Daniels, very well. He's got a little comic undertone, but he's not over the top with it. Very good.
Especially in the 5-1 episode. He was awesome.
Yep.
I like it. Justin, you got any more?
I got one last one. I was really disappointed not to see this character show up in the Avengers film, but I would really love to see War Machine given his own movie. The Iron Man movies are a lot of fun, but they're quite a bit about Stark and, you know, being a rich playboy. I would like to see one of these movies, but really dealing with heavy violence, heavy action, much more of a war setting and less of the Iron Man type stuff. I wish War Machine had shown up in the Avengers, but damn it, give him his own movie.
Fair enough. I want to see it too. Brian?
Yeah, my last one is going back to Mad Max. He was the crazy, loony, hang gliding pilot guy. He had the little crazy son. They pop up every, I don't know, I think they're in just about every movie. Well, the second, I think they're in Road Warrior, and then I think Thunderdome. But they're just
the guy with the big mouth.
Yeah, the big bug eyes. He's probably dead at this point. I mean, he looked kind of old at the time. But
why does it sound like I'm walking into a Blockbuster video? I want to see the movie with that guy, the hang gliding guy with the big mouth.
He was in Attack of the Clones. He played one of the aliens on the planet where the lizard runner thing on there. I know who you're talking about. He's an Australian guy in basically every Australian movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Tall. He's like a tall, real thin, lanky guy.
Yeah.
He's got a really odd face. And I believe in the Thunderdome movie, he had a little kid with him at the time, and they just pop in for they're really not in the movies very long, but they're just crazy, and I just kind of always wondered how do they always cross paths with Mad Max, and what are they doing elsewhere? So
okay,
yeah.
Well, I don't think Scott has any more. I'll have just two, but I'll throw them out there. I'll mix them together. I know they're making a Kick-Ass 2, but I would prefer to see just a Hit Girl movie.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit about the kid. So
oh, Brian's all excited now.
Yeah,
what?
Chloe Moretz in her own movie, and she's, almost an adult. I'm sure Brian's got the clock ticking on his computer right now.
I'm pulling up the countdown clock now.
She'll be 18 in 2 years. And also Rorschach from Watchmen. I still want a Rorschach movie.
That'd be good.
That would be good. It would be really dark, but it would be good.
He was the most interesting character in that movie.
By far, man. By far.
Blue Dong haters.
And just for the record, there are 908 days, 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 37 seconds.
You actually found that website?
Oh, he's just kidding.
Yeah, I just found one. It's hilarious.
All right, now let's go to our closing where we read off any emails. Scott, you can go first.
All right, this one comes from Michael F. in response to the Guess This Movie clip. It says, Dear Hose, that was Troll 2 with perhaps the best acting in the history of cinema. Perhaps that guy in Battlefield Earth, John Travolta, should team up for the ultimate Oscar contender. Cheers, Michael F. And congrats, Mike, on the T-shirt this week.
This email's from one of our longtime listeners, Ashley. She says, it's been a while since I've harassed you guys. First off, congrats on being on the radio. That's really awesome. Secondly, I did receive my I'm a Ho T-shirt. Pictures to come. Thanks a bunch. They look pretty cool. And I do hope pictures are to come because Ashley is a more than average. Boy, that really sounded shitty. She is a very attractive girl.
Wow. Easy.
She's a pretty woman. So I look forward to these pictures. She goes, you guys are totally right. The Avengers can definitely be mentioned again because it relates to new valid news. Name redacted. Was appreciated, though.
Aw.
Lastly, when you guys were talking about video game movies, I was so sad because I thought no one was going to mention Hitman. That movie was freaking awesome. Maybe it's because I played the game and I'm biased. Justin, I totally wish they would actually make a live-action Halo as well, because that's my favorite game. I would probably pass out, be revived, and then pass out again if it ever hit theaters. First in line midnight show if it does. Talk to you guys later. If they ever make a Halo movie, Ashley, I'll be right there behind you in line.
Whoa.
Probably staring at your butt.
Just
don't look at me because it'll
that
get
was
off.
so uncomfortable.
You were so creepy.
Yeah, you were kind of
I
creepy.
can't let
man.
Aaron be the only creepy one. Occasionally, I have to back him up.
And I do want to tell Ashley, because for people that are listening, she's been a listener for quite some time, and very we appreciate her support. But I had promised her a while back I would watch The Skin I Live In, and I still haven't done it, so I haven't forgot. So I will try to do that this week.
She's got this badass Lord of the Rings tattoo beneath her neck.
How the hell do you know that?
Because she's on Facebook.
Oh my God, you stalker!
You know, we have Facebook.
Oh, that's
This
right.
thing where we have a page and our listeners go to it on occasion.
Is that facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider?
I think it is.
Wow. All right, Brian, it's your turn, and please don't be a dick this time.
I wasn't a dick last time.
You kind of were.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
It was all in fun.
I'm being a fun dick.
Greg S. starts out with Troll 2. Took about 0.5 seconds of the clip to get it. One of my favorites. If you guys haven't seen it, it is widely regarded as one of the worst films of all time. Watch it. It's pure bliss. Again, that's from Greg S. So we appreciate the email, Greg.
I'm missing out.
And it is one of the worst films of all time. You should watch it. Yeah. Such horrible acting. Okay, well, that is The Hollywood Outsider. Make sure to stay through the credits. You'll get a few outtakes. You can find us on TheHollywoodOutsider.com, Facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. If you have any topic ideas or flashbacks or questions of your own, email us at feedback@TheHollywoodOutsider.com. Make sure you tell your friends, subscribe on iTunes, Zoom, Google Reader, or listen on your Stitcher radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or any plain old RSS feed. We're also on RockfordCollegeRadio.com every Thursday night from 4 to 6, so be sure to check us out there. I want to thank each of the podcasters. Brian Williams, thanks, B.
All right.
He knows how to make an exit. Scott Clark, he's available on Twitter at Scotty Lindsay.
Yo.
And he also, boy, apparently you guys are, it's the Expendables too, right?
Yeah.
It's got you guys pumped. Justin McCumber, he's host of the Dead Robot Society. It's a weekly podcast for aspiring writers, available at deadrobotsociety.com. Thanks, Justin.
Yup.
I hate all of you. Next week we will be reviewing the Avengeables.
The Bungee Bendables. What?
Yeah. We will be reviewing The Expendables 2, as well as we're going to look at some of the more exciting shows for the upcoming fall TV season. So remember, from all of us, The Hollywood Outsider, the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn. Because, you know, he's all obsessed with running, so he thinks thin. He thinks fat. That's what he thinks.
Right. He hears blubber and he thinks fatties.
I don't deal with fatties.
Somebody over 105 pounds.
I could see him when he was younger going on dates. What is that? Is that a love handle? Yeah, get out.
Before they get in the car, he breaks out that little pincher thing. You know, they put up on your side.
Measure body fat.
Calculate that body fat index.
It's like, no,
honey.
Yeah, you're not working,
If he can't rest the remote control in their sunken in pelvis, they're too fat.
He'll drop a candy bar. If they bend over and pick it up, he kicks them off to the curb. Fail.
And you don't buy prefab nooses.
I was going to say, you can't like walk in the hardware store and say, hey, where are your nooses?
Why not?
Because
I'm sure suicides are a demographic somewhere.
it's better than thinking of your ways beaten off.
Mm-hmm. I do appreciate
Or
it.
is it?
That'd be kind of flattering. Thank you, bro.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate that.
Am I taking or am I giving?
Jaws was released on Blu-ray this week.
Yeah.
With Shark Week.
Yeah, it's getting rave reviews as far as the
Commentary.
the HD transfer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're saying it's one of the best movies that's been cleaned up and put on Blu-ray.
I guess that someone told me that...
Better than Star Wars? I don't think so.
Someone
Yeah,
said...
Jaws blinks now.